Good day, my dear students. Hope you're all doing well. And this is our 7th video of the chapter Rise of Nationalism in Europe. So, in the last section, that was the main third section, we have seen many revolts, which started from 1830 to 1848. July Revolution, Greek War of Independence, revolts due to hunger, hardship, which includes peasant revolt, Silesian revolt, and all. So, parallel to this peasants' revolt, which happened because of hunger, hardship, and all, parallel to that, in 1848, there were revolutions led by educated middle class. That is, revolution of liberals. Parallel to peasants' revolt, we have revolutions led by liberals. In France, following the revolutions of liberals, two things actually happened. First is abdication of monarch, that is, monarchy was taken away, and next was that republic based on male suffrage. They got voting rights were granted to males only, not females, males only. So when France got all these things, abdication of monarch and republic based on male suffrage, setting France as model, Germany, Italy, Poland, Austro-Hungarian Empire, all these nation states were divided. Germany into 39 states, Italy into 7 states. So they demanded a creation of nation states on parliamentary principle. A constitution, all these places, they demanded for parliamentary principle that was based on a constitution, freedom of press, and freedom of association. In Germany, what happened was that as part of demanding parliamentary associate parliament or constitution, middle class professionals, businessmen, artisans, they came together at the city of Frankfurt and they decided to vote for an German National Assembly. And on 18th May 1848, please note that year and date, 831 elected representatives, they marched in festive procession to take their place in Frankfurt Parliament, and it actually happened in the church of St. Paul. And these 831 elected members, they drafted a constitution for German nation to be headed by monarchy subject to a parliament. Our drafted the constitution, German nation will be headed by a monarchy than head, but that monarch or that king is to be subjected under parliament. And now comes the twist there. So when these deputies, these 831 members and the deputies, offered crown to the King Frederick Wilhelm IV, the King of Prussia, he rejected it because he doesn't want to be under parliament. He just wanted to be an autocratic ruler. He rejected it and he joined other monarchs and oppose the elected assembly. So we have elected assembly on the one part and we have monarchy and military on the other side. And the opposition of aristocracy and military becomes stronger and social basis of the parliament eroded and this parliament became a failure. And the other thing was that this Frankfurt Parliament, the majority was dominated by middle class. And this middle class, they resisted the demands of work. ഈ മിഡിൽ ക്ലാസ് വർക്കേഴ്സിൻ്റെയും ആർട്ടിസൻസിൻ്റെയും ഡിമാൻഡ്സ് അംഗീകരിച്ചിരുന്നില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു പ്രശ്നം വന്നപ്പോൾ വർക്കേഴ്സ് ആൻഡ് ആർട്ടിസൻസ് did not stood for middle class people and troops were called in and this assembly got disbanded. Why Frankfurt Parliament failed? The parliament was representative of middle class interest. Second point is that opposition of aristocracy. We have elected assembly on the other side and there was strong opposition of aristocracy and military. It led to the erosion of its social basis and troops were called in and they could not stand against a troop. Resistance to the demands of workers and artisans deprived them of their support. So workers and artisans and demands of middle class അംഗീകരിച്ചിരുന്നില്ല, so that they did not get the support of workers and artisans when the time came. And women who had been the active members were denied voting rights during election. They stood just as passive members when the parliament was held. See, in the France also, they stood for only male suffrage. Women were not given voting rights. Here also, the same thing has actually happened. Even though the conservative forces were able to suppress liberal movements in 1848, they could not restore the old order. Monarchs they started to realize that cycles of revolutions and repression could only be ended by granting concession to liberal nationalist revolutionary. So, years following 1848, many autocratic monarchies of Central and Eastern Europe they began to introduce changes, and they also started to stick on to nationalist sentiments only to strengthen monarchies. Conservatives avarum korchu concessions കൊടുക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി because they know that this revolutions is not gonna end. Even though liberals had fought for freedom, they did not take the matter of extending political rights to women seriously. Even if women had formed their own political associations, founded newspapers, and taken part in political meetings and demonstrations, they were denied voting rights during election of the assembly. One such example to show this kind of denial suffered by women is when Frankfurt Parliament was held in St. Paul. Women were just stood there as observers in the visitors' gallery. This denial of equal political rights, it called for feminist movement. What is feminism? It is the awareness of women's rights and interests based on belief of social, economic, and political equality of genders. Feminism is actually standing for the equality between two genders, that is male and female. See, we have seen that liberal revolutionaries stood for male suffrage but not for women's suffrage. Women were not given equal importance. So this called for feminist movements. Moving on to the next session, that is fourth, the making of Germany and Italy. See, the subsection, Germany, can the army be the architect of nations? So here in Germany, we can see that there is something interesting in the case of Germany, because here the army or military is the one who tries to unify the nation, or who unified the German nation. Let's see what happened there. Early revolutionaries of Europe upheld the idea of liberty and nationalism. After 1848, conservatives started to use this idea of nationalist sentiments only to strengthen monarchy. They also started to use the nationalist sentiments. Conservatives, it includes monarchy and all. Unification of Italy and Germany came about through this process. That is, in Germany's and Italy's case, monarchy or army are the ones who unified the nation as a whole. Small pictorial representation of what we have discussed and what has actually happened in Germany. See, please, it's 1848, okay? So, Frankfurt Parliament was held in the year of 1848, and at the end, the elected assembly offered crown to Wilhelm, but he rejected it because he doesn't want to be under a parliament. And at the end, what happened was that troops were called in and the parliament got disbanded. The liberal initiative, so it was actually liberal initiative for national unification. Liberals are ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു initiative എടുത്തത്. But it was repressed by the combined forces of monarchy, military, and this monarchy and military was supported by the large landowners called Junkers of Prussia. So please note this term, because it was being asked in the earlier question paper, that is, who are Junkers? So they are none other than large landowners of Prussia who supported monarchy and military in repressing the liberal initiative of nation building of Germany. Okay, so liberals in the initiative, it was repressed. Liberals a German unification or initiative eduthu, but it got repressed. Troops were called in, military vannu, and liberals they did not get the support of workers and artisans. Now from then on, Prussia took on the leadership of national unification. Which nation unification ആണ്? ജർമ്മനിയുടെ. And Prussia's chief minister, Otto von Bismarck, was the architect of this process. Please note that man's name, that is, he was Prussia's chief minister and he was the architect of this process, that is the unification of Germany. He carried out this process with the help of Prussian army and bureaucracy. There comes the answer to the question: Can army be the architect of the nation? See, he is the main architect of nation building, and he done it with the help of Prussian army and bureaucracy. 3 wars over 7 years. So Prussia, it fought 3 wars over 7 years for the unification of Germany. That is, the 3 wars are with Prussia with Austria, Prussia with Denmark, and Prussia with France. First is Austro-Prussian War, that is Prussia with Austria, German-Danish War, that is with Denmark, Franco-Prussian War, it's with France. And after the 3 wars, Prussia won the wars and completed the process of German unification. And on January 1871, Prussian King William I was proclaimed as the German Emperor in a ceremony held at Versailles. So please note all these points. That is on January 1871, and the Prussian king's name, that is William I. So this has become the new German Empire. On 18th January 1871, new German Empire was headed by Kaiser William I of Prussia. The function was held at the Hall of Mirror, Versailles. On the bitterly cold morning of 18 January 1871, assembly comprising of princes of German state, Kaiser William I of Prussia became the German Emperor. As Prussia took the leadership of the moment, because I have already said, liberal revolutionaries, Frankfurt Parliament was a failure, and from then on, Prussia took the leadership for the German unification with the help of Otto von Bismarck. So as Prussia took the leadership of the moment, Prussian state dominated the power. New state placed strong emphasis on modernizing the currency, banking, legal and judicial systems in Germany. Prussian measures and practices became the model for the rest of Germany. As Prussia ആണ് ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ലീഡറായിട്ട് നിന്നതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ പ്രഷ്യയാണ് ബാക്കി ജർമ്മൻ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്സ് എല്ലാം മോഡലായിട്ട് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തത്. As simply as that, they followed the model of Prussian state. So this is a small activity for you. It's there in your textbook. Figure 13. Caricature of Otto von Bismarck in German Parliament. See, please keep this answer in your mind. Describe the caricature. What is he doing? How does it represent the relationship between Bismarck and elected deputies of parliament? See, we can see elected deputies of parliament hiding under the table. What interpretation of democratic process is the artist trying to convey? So try to figure out the answers in your 4.2. Italy unified. Like Germany, Italy too had a long history of political fragmentation. Italians were scattered over several dynastic states as well as multinational Habsburg Empire. See, the Italy was divided into 7 states. 7 states, which we can see in this figure. 7 states. On the northern part of Italy was under Austrian Habsburg Empire. The central part was under the rule of Pope, and the southern part was under the Bourbon kings of Spain. And only one state, that is Savoy Sardinia, that is same as Sardinia Piedmont, it was ruled by Italian princely house. So the north was ruled by the Austrian Habsburg, center was by Pope, and the south was by Bourbon kings of Spain. Here, the Italian language was not acquired one common form. It has got many local and regional variations because the whole country has been divided into 7 states, and each section was under different empires. These 3 key figures, that is Mazzini, Garibaldi, and Count di Cavour, these 3 key figures had played a major role in the unification of Italy, and let's see what they have done. First, moving on to Mazzini. We have seen Mazzini in the earlier section. Giuseppe Mazzini. During 1830s, Giuseppe Mazzini had sought to put together a coherent program for a unitary Italian republic. He had also formed a secret society called Young Italy for the dissemination of his goal. His goal was Italian unification. Mazzini's revolutionary uprising in 1831 and 1848 was a failure. So now the mantle means here, it means responsibility. The responsibility to unify Italy. Now it fell on to the ruler of Sardinia Piedmont. Sardinia Piedmont is the only state which was ruled by Italian princely house. And the Sardinian Piedmont's ruler was King Victor Emmanuel II. He decides to unify Italy through wars. So that's where Germany and Italy stays different, because one monarch or a conservative is going to unify Italy other than a liberal nationalist or liberal revolutionary. This very person is Victor Emmanuel II, who was the ruler of Sardinia Piedmont. And moving on to the next key figure, that is Count di Cavour. He is neither a revolutionary nor a democrat. He is an educated member of Italian elite. Elite means high-class person, high-class person. And he was well versed in French than in Italian language, because they believed that French was something very bigger. And Cavour helped Sardinia Piedmont in defeating Austrian forces of North in 1859. Please keep in mind this Austrian force എന്ന് പറയുന്നതാണ്. The northern part of the Italy was under Austrian Habsburg Empire. So this Cavour is a very person who helped Sardinia Piedmont in defeating Austrian force in the year of 1859. Keep that year in mind, 1859. Moving on. In 1860, next key figure, that is, there comes our Garibaldi. In 1860, along with Garibaldi, number of armed volunteers, keep that in mind, if they are armed volunteers, they are not militaries or they are not troops, they are armed volunteers who is actually helping Garibaldi, and they are popularly known as red shirts. We can see in the figure. They marched into South Italy. South Italy was under the rule of Bourbon king of Spain. So they marched to South Italy and the kingdom of 2 Sicilies and drove out the Spanish rulers from south. So the north was this Cavour was the one who helped to conquer north. The south, Garibaldi helped to conquer the south. And in 1867, so keep this 1860 in mind, okay? In 1867, Garibaldi led the volunteers to Rome. That was the central part of Italy, but he failed to get back the papal state. So, in 1861, after Garibaldi conquered the southern part from Bourbon kings of Spain, in 1861, our very Victor Emmanuel II, who was the ruler of Piedmont, Sardi Piedmont, he was proclaimed as the king of United Italy in 1861. So please keep not all these years in your mind, okay? So now a question can pop up in your mind, that is, when does the papal state was conquered? It was in 1870. During the war with Prussia, France drew its troops from Rome, that the papal states were finally joined to Italy in the year of 1870. In your textbook, page number 22, in box 2, you can see this violet box. It describes about Giuseppe Garibaldi. Please go and read, because from there you can see the mention of red shirts. It's not there in the main section, but it's there in the violet box. Please read. Activity will be given to analyze whether you have read that or not. Okay, so now we can, in that section itself, you can see a figure, that is figure 15, where Garibaldi is helping King Victor. This is Garibaldi, this is King Victor Emmanuel II of Sardinia and Piedmont to pull on the boot named Italy. Here we can see the imprint Italy. So this particular caricature simply gives you a meaning that Garibaldi helped our Victor Emmanuel II to unify Italy. So that's the meaning of this caricature. It can be asked. Okay, it can be asked. Let's have a quick recap. We have gone through revolution of liberals in 1848. So when you are asked about revolutions, the main section of the third section was at the age of revolution, that is from 1830 to 1848. When such a question is asked about the revolution of 1830 to 1848, you need to mention July Revolution of 1830, Greek War of Independence, revolts due to hunger and hardship, which includes Peasants' Revolt of 1848 and resulted suffrage for male, Silesian Revolt of 1845, and parallel to that happened the revolutions led by liberals. Okay, and then we have learned unification of Germany and unification of Italy. And children, please note, this unification of Germany and Italy has been asked in many question paper. In many previous year question paper, unification of Germany and Italy was a frequent question. So please read it. I have given a very brief, so please go and read it. Assessment worksheets will be given after you listen to this video. So thank you for listening. I know it's a pretty lengthy video, but thank you for listening, thank you for responding, and thank you for your beautiful performance for the test paper. Thank you for that. To see you all soon, and stay healthy, stay fit, and happy learning.